Hey guys, what's up? It's Savannah. Welcome back to another episode of My Thoughts Exactly. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today. I am so happy that you are here. Happy Friday, you guys. I hope you've had a great week. And if you haven't, guess what? It's Friday. It's the weekend. You did it. Happy Friday, you guys. I have had a pretty great week thus far. I'm not going to lie. I got back from New York on Monday. New York was such a dream, you guys. I posted some of the pictures on the My Thoughts Exactly Instagram page on my story if you caught some of those. It was just such an amazing time. I always cherish the time that I get to spend with my family. I think I told you guys that I was going with not only Hayden, but my parents were going. Jackson, my brother, lives up in New York. His girlfriend was also there. And it was just such a fun time. Like I said, I just really cherish the time that I get to spend with my family. I feel like as I'm getting older and we're all just kind of like, growing and evolving and doing things, it's nice to be able to reconnect and just have that quality time again, especially because we don't all just get to hang out like we used to. So anytime that we get to do that, it's just been such a blast, and New York was no exception. We got back on Monday, and this week has just kind of felt like a fever dream, to be honest. I feel like there has just been so much going on, so much to do, and just a lot of moving parts, but we are tackling it day by day, and I'm very excited that it is the weekend. But when you ever go on, or if you ever go on a trip and then you get back on a Monday, your week just kind of gets thrown off a little bit. Like, it's Wednesday right now when I'm filming this. It feels kind of like a Tuesday, kind of like a Thursday also. I don't know. There's just a lot of moving parts, but we are here, and I am so excited because I missed talking to you guys. It's been like a week, and I feel like we just need to catch up and chit chat, and that is exactly what we are doing today. My friends, we are doing the first What Would Sav Do of June. If you do not know what a What Would Sav Do is, I mean, at this point, I feel like we all kind of get it. We get the gist, we know. But if you don't, let me fill you in. A What Would Sav Do is when I ask you guys, what's going on in your life? What are you dealing with? What's upsetting you? What are you overthinking about? And you tell me said situation, and I read it and give you what me, Sav, hey, hi, hello, would do in your situation. So that is what a What Would Sav Do is. We have done these countless of times, and honestly, they're probably my favorite segment to film and to post and chit chat with you guys about, because I feel like it really gives us a chance to connect and talk, and it's just like a little girl chat. I feel like we're on FaceTime, even though it's definitely not a phone in front of me. But anyways, if you want to be a part of the next What Would Sav Do, definitely go follow the My Thoughts Exactly Instagram page. It's just at My Thoughts Exactly Podcast. It's where I not only ask you guys for What Would Sav Do questions, but any segment that we do on the podcast, I'm always reaching out to you guys through that specific page. So make sure you are following and staying up to date. But with that being said, you guys, let's jump right on into it today. I have a Diet Coke. I'm feeling great. I feel like things are going well. Okay, we're about to jump in with this first one. It says, I'm 19 and going into my second year of college. I don't really go out. How should I meet more people? Like, I spend most of my time working too, so it's just kind of hard. Now, anytime I get any question in regards to friendships, how to meet people, my number one tip is social media. The power of social media nowadays is crazy. It's definitely something that we didn't have even 5 years ago, but definitely 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It was not as powerful as it is today. And I think that social media is a great way and place to meet friends nowadays, because there are so many people that are in this same position of, I'm in college, or I'm in high school, or I graduated college and I just moved to a new city and I don't know how to meet anyone. And, I do work a lot, or I work from home, so I'm not really socializing. My answer is always going to be the same for this. It is social media, because I know for me personally, when I moved to Nashville, I didn't know anyone. I didn't have any friends. My first friend here was Becca Moore. I love her. And we met through social media. And I just DM'd her on Instagram one day because I saw that she was moving to Nashville. But what I would suggest is, I would suggest two different things. One, Bumble BFF. I've talked about Bumble BFF before. I think it is a great way to meet friends because you're really going through and kind of sifting through a bunch of people that are in the same boat as you. Everyone who's on Bumble BFF is looking for friends. They're looking to expand their social circle. They're looking for someone to do activities with, looking for someone who can also kind of vibe with them. And with Bumble BFF, it really gives you the control and the power to scroll. This sounds like an ad. I swear it's not. But with Bumble BFF, it really gives you the control and power to kind of see and read people's bios, see what they're into, see if it kind of aligns with what you're looking for. And if you match, great. And you can meet up. And it's really great because I feel like you can kind of orchestrate it and curate it around your schedule. You said you work a lot, so you can even like throw that in there, or you can kind of have more control. The second thing that I would do is Facebook groups. Typically, if you're in a decently populated city, it doesn't even have to be that big. There are Facebook groups for people who are in the same boat, who want friends, who want to meet up, who do different activities. You know, I know Nashville is definitely a bigger city, but in Nashville, there's so many different Facebook groups. There's, you know, girl groups or, you know, hiking groups or tennis groups or all these different things that you can do. And so getting involved in something like that, if your town has that, would also be a great way to expand that social circle and kind of make more friends and put yourself out there. It's just important to remember that everyone is in the same boat as you are. Everyone has felt this way. Everyone has felt like they just want to make friends and they want to put themselves out there, but at the same time, it's kind of weird and it feels awkward. You just kind of have to get past the awkwardness of it all. That's kind of how I felt when I was on Bumble BFF. I was like, this feels weird. This feels awkward. Like it's not like a natural, organic connection. But throw that out the window because that's just kind of the day and age that we are in. I truly feel like the friends that you meet, typically they're either going to be through like mutuals or, you know, other organic situations that don't happen as often. But if you're looking for, you know, friendships and you're looking for people to hang out with and you're looking to like expand your social circle, that's how I would do it. Especially if like you don't go out very much and you are, you know, working a lot. So it doesn't give you the opportunity to kind of have that organic connection with someone as a friend. I think social media is the best place to do it. So that is where I would go. I wish you the best of luck and I hope it works out and I know it will. So that is the first question. Let's move on to the second one. I'm planning a 30th birthday trip with my friends to an all-inclusive. My boyfriend, who's 1 year younger, also wants to invite a bunch of his friends and siblings. I don't want this because I don't want to miss out on time with my friends to celebrate the year that we all turn 30. What would Sav do? Okay, this is interesting. My first question, I just feel like I want some context on this story. I want to know how long you and your boyfriend have been together. I know you said he's 1 year younger, but I do think that I just kind of want to know that just for the context of the story, but I'm also just nosy. What I would do in this situation, I would have a sit down conversation with your boyfriend and I would say, listen, babe, I love you. And I love that you want to be there to celebrate my birthday with me. But honestly, I was really just kind of like looking forward to this trip as a girls' trip. And I want to be able to celebrate my friends. And I want my friends to be able to celebrate me. It's my birthday. I want to do that. And I also want to have a celebration with you. I would frame it as you want to have two separate celebrations. I would say, I want to have one celebration with you where it's just you and me and we can connect and have quality time and it'll be so great. Let's go like make a staycation out of it. Let's go get a hotel room for a night. Let's go to a dinner. Let's do an activity that you guys like to do. Something where he feels like you are also including him and not just completely shunning him, which I know you're not, but men sometimes have a tendency to think really black and white, I feel like. So I would just explain. I would be like, listen, I love that you want to come and celebrate me, but honestly, it's my birthday and kind of the way that I want to orchestrate it is I want to have one trip with my friends and then one trip with you. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And I think that if he thinks that there's something wrong with that, that would honestly kind of make me question why he really wants to go with you. Is it because he wants to celebrate you? Or is it because he like has some, you know, caution about you going on a girls' trip to an all-inclusive with just your friends? Is there a hesitation on his end to where he feels like, oh no, I have to go. I'm going to bring my friends and my family. It's your birthday at the end of the day. It is your birthday. And if I think about myself in my relationship. Let's say if Hayden was planning some, you know, guys trip and I was like, oh, well, I'm going to come and I'm going to bring my friends and my family and whatever. it would be weird, I feel like. And I can see myself, having a conversation similar to that. Not that this would happen to me, because I don't think it would, but I do think that if I was in this position and Hayden came to me and he said, listen, babe, I love that you want to be there for this, but at the same time, I just want to have my boys trip and then I want to celebrate with you and I want it to be separate, that wouldn't really bother me. I would be like, that makes sense. You want to go out with your boys. You want to be able to like enjoy. They would probably like be in a cabin somewhere, like doing guy things and fishing and whatever. You want to go do that? You go do that. I'm going to then have a separate celebration with you. And that's going to be amazing too. It's his birthday, just as it is your birthday. It's your birthday and you get to celebrate how you want to. And no one should make you feel bad about that. And no one should make you feel like you're doing anything wrong by just being like, I want to celebrate with my friends. I think it's amazing that you're able to sit there and be like, I want to have a celebration with my girls. Like, I just want to be able to celebrate with my friends and bring in my 30th year. Like 100%. I think that that's so normal and valid and okay. And so I would just frame it to him as you want to have two separate celebrations. You want to go out and have your little, all-inclusive girls trip or friend trip or whatever it is. And then you want to celebrate with him. And that's how you want to celebrate your birthday, because it's your birthday and you get to do that. I hope you have an amazing time on the trip. And I hope the conversation goes smoothly. That's how I would approach it. And again, I don't think that there's anything, wrong with what you want out of this. I think that the goal is very clear and it's your 30th birthday. Like, you should be able to celebrate it how you want, and you should have a partner who is receptive to that and understands and is like, yeah, babe, you go have your fun trip. I'll plan something for us so that when you come back or before or whatever, you and I can have our own separate celebration. It's not his birthday. It's not his celebration. It's not his trip. You get to plan it how you want. That's what I have to say about that. Okay, next one. A boy who liked me doesn't like me anymore because he saw me kissing another guy. What would Sav do? I would probably just keep kissing the other guy, or I would kiss a third guy and maybe it just they all cancel each other out. That's probably what I would do. I wouldn't stress about that one, honestly. Typically, it's just, it is what it is. That one is what it is. I would just go and either kiss another guy or keep kissing the same guy. That's what I would do. What would Sav do if you have a significant other who doesn't feel comfortable going to a bar without each other if I wanted to go on a girls' night? This is something that I've experienced before, and I have a lot of strong opinions about it. And what I will say is that after I ended that relationship, when looking forward to a future partner, like what I was looking for in a future partner was someone who was secure enough in themselves to not let me, but like not freak out if I wanted to go on a girls' night, because I'm going to, point blank, I'm going to go on a girls' night. If you freak out, we're just not going to work, because I'm not going to spend my time texting you, making sure you're okay while I'm trying to be out and present with my friends and have a good time. If you are sitting there and you're so insecure to the point, sorry, I don't mean to be harsh about this, but like if you're sitting there and you're so insecure to the point of like, you're constantly blowing me up, or you're constantly, texting me or constantly calling me, wondering where I am, what I'm doing, who I'm with, wanting pictures, that's a red flag for me. And what I really, really love about my relationship and something I really cherish about it is the fact that Hayden gives me like my space and my independence to be able to go out and have my girls' nights. We have a level of trust that is there. Just as if he wants to go out and like have drinks with his friends or whatever, the trust is there and he can do what he wants. I'm a little bit more of the overthinker, honestly, because it's just for safety reasons more than anything else. Like I trust Hayden completely, but it's more so like, I have a true crime podcast. I get nervous. I overthink. So I am more of the overthinker in that sense. So what I would say in this situation is I would have a conversation with your boyfriend and I would say, listen, I love you. I want to be with you, if that is the case. I want to be with you, but something that we need to work on is you giving me my independence and a little bit of freedom to go out with my friends. When I'm going out for a girls' night, that is all I'm doing. And honestly, just as a side note, you really shouldn't be having to explain this to him, but considering this is the scenario and we're going to have this conversation, this is how I would frame it. When I go out with a girls' night with my friends, That is all we are doing. I'm having fun with my girls. I'm catching up. We're vibing and we're having a good time. I want you to be able to trust me, but at the same time, it really is hard when I go out and try and do these things when you're blowing up my phone or you're mad at me or I have this weight hanging over my shoulders that you're going to be upset at me when I come home. How can we navigate this to where you feel comfortable, but also I am still going to continue to go out and have my girls' nights and go out and see my friends? That isn't going to change. That is something that is important to me. It's important to me to have that quality time with my girls. But at the same time, because we are in a relationship, I want to figure out a way where you're also comfortable with it. Is it a text, every time we go to a new place? Is it a text when I get home? Is it, what is it going to be that makes you the most comfortable? That is how I would approach the conversation. Reason being, because I have a feeling, because I've been there, this conversation can turn into the other person getting defensive very quickly, being like, well, what is it? Why don't you want me there? The only reason you don't want me there is because something bad is happening or you're doing something that you wouldn't want me to see or da-da-da-da-da. It's not necessary for it to go in that direction. So I would bring it to him as kind of like an open-ended conversation and just being like, I want to find a solution here, finding a solution and finding a goal to where you feel comfortable. And I'm still going to go and do the things that I want to do and the things that are important to me. It's important to me to have this quality time with my friends. So how can we frame it in a way where you are going to be comfortable? If he spews at you, the defensive, why don't you want me there? You don't love me. I don't get it. Like, you're cheating. That is the red flag that you need to take a step back and be like, is this someone that I want to be with? Is this someone that I see a future with? Is my partner going to be someone who is constantly nagging me, who's constantly controlling me? Because honestly, that is what it is. And who is constantly, badgering me while I'm trying to be with my friends and have quality time. I do think that there is a limit. I'm going to say this. I do think that there is a limit. I think that it's one thing if you are going out clubbing until like 5, 6 a.m. That's kind of a different scenario. But if you're just going out with your girls and you're, shooting him a couple texts along the way, you get home at 1, 2, who cares? I don't think that that's a big deal. I really, really don't. And maybe I know that is kind of a controversial and unpopular opinion that I see from people on TikTok and everything where everyone's like, oh, there's no reason for my significant other to be out until past midnight or 1 or 2 or whatever. If I'm having a good time with my friend, I'm having a good time with my friend, and I'm going to stay having a good time with my friend. And I'm not a teenager. I don't have a curfew. I'm an adult. I am respectful of my partner me and Hayden text pretty much the whole time while I'm out because I want to text with my boyfriend, and I keep him updated on what we're doing. I'll send him pictures of the bars that we're at because I want him to see it because it looks cooler. I'll be like, oh, we should go here. Communicating throughout the night is important to me just as much as it is important to him because that is a respect thing. I don't go ghost for hours on end. That would be different. I think it is important to have a certain level of communication, but if you're already offering that and there still is a problem, that is when I would sit down with him and have a conversation about how to move forward in the future. And then based off of his response to said conversation, I would either be like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is our solution and move forward. Or if it gets super defensive, it kind of turns into more of an argument, then I might take a reevaluation on the relationship. Alrighty, moving on. I've been seeing a guy that I work with. It's not public knowledge, even though there are joking rumors, but he's been drinking a lot more and taking more drugs. He walks me to my car every night, but will only kiss me or say sweet things to me once he's had a beer or a smoke. I've told him I'm uncomfortable, but nothing ever changes. I like him a lot, but I don't know what to do. What would Sav do? What Sav would do is stop talking to this man. What Sav would do is not engage. And what Sav would do is pull away. Because my first question is, what do you like about him? What is redeemable about him? He doesn't sound like someone who is worthy of being with you. The only time he says nice things or when he's drunk or when he's smoking, that's not someone that's not a good quality that you want in a partner. You want a partner who's going to be there for you and say nice things about you all the time, not just when he's drunk and walking you to his car and he smells like cigarettes. No, thank you. I just think that in my personal opinion, I would step away. I know you really like him, but I promise you that you can find someone who will respect your boundaries, because clearly you say that you've brought this up to him and nothing ever changes, which is also not a good quality. If you express to someone that what they're doing is making you uncomfortable, their behavior is making you uncomfortable, how you're making them feel is making you uncomfortable, there is something wrong. If someone liked you, right? If someone really, really, really liked you and they were like, listen, I really enjoy hanging out with you, spending time with you. I think you're really cool. I would love to see where this goes. But there is just this kind of like one thing that makes me a little bit uncomfortable and I'm just not loving this part of it. Would you be like, oh, no, it's fine. I'm just going to keep doing it. If you really liked them, like, would you do that? No, you would probably take a step back and be like, okay, clearly there's a disconnect here. Clearly what I'm doing isn't for the greater good of whatever this could potentially be. So I'm either going to take a step back, I'm going to change how I'm acting, or I'm just going to be like, you know what, this isn't for me, and walk away. For you to continually say that this bothers you and to see no change, you're not going to see change. And that's why I say I think it's better to just kind of walk away from the situation, because you will not see change from this man. This man is going to continue to act how he's acting because it's been okay with you thus far. There's a term that I'm trying to remember right now and I can't really remember it, but it's something along the lines of like the behavior that we allow is what is going to continue. And that is a very, very great example here. If you step away and you're like, you know what, this just isn't for me. I don't love how you're acting. I just feel like you're not really stepping up to the plate, whatever. And that's kind of the flick of a light bulb that goes off in his head. And he's like, oh shoot, like I'm really screwing this up with this great, amazing person. Then great. Maybe you can reevaluate afterwards. But the behavior that is continuing because you're allowing it. And the only way to really stop allowing it is to either step away or give an ultimatum. And if you guys like aren't really, anything solid at this point, there's really no point in giving an ultimatum. I would just pull back, and he's going to wonder why you pull back. And then you're just going to say, I'm just not crazy about this behavior. I don't, I've asked you to change multiple times and it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen. And that's okay. I don't want to get in the middle or get in the way of you trying to live your life and you doing the things that you like to do. But I've just seen a pattern of behavior that I'm not crazy about. And so I'm just going to step away. He will either change in that moment or he won't. And through that, you will have your answer. So if I were you, I would just take a step back, because clearly it's not doing you any good continuing how it is. Okay, moving on. My girlfriend wants to get married next year, but I'm not ready that soon. We've only dated a month. What would Sav do? What? Okay. This is what I have to say. Everyone can have their own timeline. I know some people do get married within a month. Could never be me, but I do know some people enjoy that. They like that. That's their cup of tea. If it is not yours, that is okay. I think that it would actually be a lot more responsible and reasonable to wait it out a little bit, to wait after a month. This is honestly a red flag to me. I'm just going to be straight. This is a red flag. If your girl wants to get married after a month, she wants to get married next year. So that would what? When does she want to get engaged? Like, what is the timeline of everything? Does she want to get engaged now and then get married in a year? I think that you guys, this would concern me if this was one of my friends telling me that, and this is that case. If this is one of my friends like telling me, yeah, Sav, like I met this girl and we've been dating for a month. She wants to get married next year. Like she already knows. You cannot know whether or not, and I know they say that when you know, but whatever. You cannot fully know that you want to marry someone within a month. I know there's going to be people out there that disagree. There's going to be people who said, I knew within a week. I knew after the first date. That's fine. You can have that intuition. But to really put that into play is, in my opinion, a little wild. It's a little crazy. Again, some people enjoy it, not for me, and not in this situation. I think that if I were you, I would just have an honest conversation with her. I think that honesty is really the best policy in all scenarios, especially this one. And I would just be like, listen, I have loved getting to know you and I've loved where our relationship is right now. I love what our future looks like and I'm really excited for it. But I don't want to put any pressure on where we're at to be at a certain place at a certain time just because it sounds good in our head. Like, we don't need to get married in a year. Like, we've been dating for a month. Maybe after the year is over, we'll be like, yeah, let's get married. And that's going to be like a collective decision together. But the idea of putting pressure on our relationship so early on is not something that makes me comfortable. If anything, it just kind of stresses me out a little bit more. I just want to continue having fun with you and continue continue on with our relationship and continue to see where it can blossom to and where it could flourish. I really like you, all of the things, but I'm not there yet with the marriage talk. And if she freaks out and if she's like, well, you don't like me or whatever, you probably dodged a bullet. She sounds lovely. I'm sure she is. But at the same time, looking at this from a bird's eye view, this is a red flag. I'm just going to be straight. This is a red flag. I would say it would probably be different if after the year was over, like you said, she wants to get married next year. After the year was over, maybe month like 9, 10, 11, she's like, listen, babe, I really love you. I love where our relationship has been, X, Y, and Z. Like, I want to get married like this year. Like, let's do it. Let's elope. Let's go to Vegas. Like, let's do something crazy and fun. That would be a different scenario. But I do think that if you are telling the person that you've been dating for 1 month that you want to get married to them next year, that is it's a little sus. I'm not going to lie. I'm just not going to lie on this one. I don't lie on any of them, but this one in particular, this is a little bit of a red flag for me. Let me see something. Did you say she wants to get married in general? My girlfriend wants to get married next year. I'm assuming to you that you guys are dating. My girlfriend wants to get married next year, but I'm not ready that soon. I think that you should also probably include the fact that you do want to if this is something that you want. If you want to get married at all, I would include that. And I would be like, listen, marriage is something that I really want too. I'm just not ready to think about it this soon in our relationship. I want us to enjoy the dating phase. I want us to enjoy every phase that comes along with our relationship and not automatically jump from 0 to 100. I want to enjoy dating you. I want to enjoy all the other phases of what's to come and not miss out on all of those by automatically jumping to, marriage, which doesn't really give us the opportunity to enjoy where we are in the present. That is how I would word it. I will say if someone was telling me they wanted to get married after a month, I don't know if I would word it in any way other than goodbye, but I will say, I think having the conversation might be necessary. Sorry if this was harsh. I just think that clearly that it's too fast. And so I would just have the conversation with her and bring it up in a way that's I want to get married in the future. Again, if that's what you want, but I'm just not ready to have those conversations right now. And I also think this is one of those conversations that, dependent on how she reacts, it will be telling to see kind of how your relationship will progress in the future. If she gets really weird and defensive and you don't love me, you don't care about me, then I would be like, okay, this isn't about necessarily getting married to me. You just want to be married in general. And that's always been a red flag for me personally. I want someone to want to get married because they want to be with me. I want someone to want to date because they want to date me. That is how I kind of think. I don't want to marry someone just because they want to get married. I want you to want to marry me, and I want to also feel that way about you. I would just, really proceed with caution and have a very honest conversation. Okay, moving on. What would Sav do to gain more confidence and not care about what people think? I keep trying to work on it, but I keep failing. My social anxiety is going through the roof. I have totally been there. I feel like it's a constant battle, day in and day out, choosing to be confident, choosing to, feel great about yourself, and choosing to let, the insecurity that comes just through life, choosing to put that to the side so you don't feel that social anxiety. It's all a very complicated course, and it's just been something that I have also struggled with a lot. I do believe that I have gotten better at it. I know that in my 16 to 22-year-old timeline, 23, I definitely felt a lot of deep insecurity, and it affected me socially because I just didn't have a lot of confidence. And truthfully, I would say that what really helped evolve is just, first of all, time. And I feel like a lot of that comes with age and, again, just like maturity and time. I think that over time I realized that no one else's opinion of me matters because I know myself, I know who I am, and I know what I'm capable of. And everyone else's outside opinion of me does not matter because I'm so secure within myself. I love myself. I think that that was a big part of the process. We have a whole episode on loving yourself that I would encourage you to go listen to, and just gives just a pep talk. It just gives a good pep talk on why you should love yourself and the steps that you can take in order to help get you there a little faster. I think that when it comes to my confidence, I'm someone who definitely struggles with it, but I choose every single day to kind of fight through that and kind of fight through the insecurity, because what I keep telling myself and what I remind myself is like, I'm going to look back on my years, right? I'm going to look back on my life in 30, 40, 50 years, whatever. I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, when I was 27, I was just really insecure, and like, for what? Like, I'm going to look back in so many years, and I want to be able to like be proud of myself for who I was and who I am and the way that I act and the way that I feel about myself. I really think that that was a big part of it. Like, I don't ever want to look back on my life and feel like I wasted my years, my youth, being insecure and self-conscious for what? Because of a societal standard? Like, no, thank you. I feel like over time, I've really come to peace with the fact that I love myself and that's good enough for me. And getting to that point came with a lot of, trials and tribulations. It's an ebbs and flows process. Some days I wake up and I feel 10 out of 10. Other days I wake up, I feel negative 10 out of 10. And nothing would have had to have happened from one day to another. I will wake up in the same body, feeling the same way. The same exact person is waking up. It's just a feeling. But on the days that I don't feel so great, I give myself the grace to be like, I'm just not having a hot day today. It's just not my day, and that's okay. But I'm going to do the things that I like to do that'll make me feel better, to kind of boost my happiness, boost my confidence. Getting a good workout in is always something that does it for me. Or sometimes it's even the opposite. It's either I want to like do the best workout ever, or sometimes I just want to sit on the couch and watch a movie, and either one is okay. Or I will clean out my closet and just declutter and feel like I'm, out with the old and with the new, and kind of letting go of old things. Or I will just romanticize my life in little ways, do my skincare routine, do a hair mask, little things that'll help boost my confidence. But again, the majority of it and the biggest part of it is that it comes from within. I know that it's really hard when you feel less than about yourself, you're not feeling super confident, to then have to go and be put into a social setting, because like, why would you want to be put in a social setting when you don't feel super confident? But sometimes it's just the way the cookie crumbles and we just got to do it. In those scenarios, I just have a little margarita and I fake it till I make it. And that is what's gotten me through. And faking it till I make it has gotten me to the point of making it. It's truthfully, like, I think Rihanna said at one time, what are the days you feel, or what do you do on the days you don't feel super confident? You fake it. You just fake it. And you don't have to fake it for yourself. You can, get in bed at the end of the day and watch your comfort show and accept the fact that that was not your hottest day. And that's okay. But tomorrow might be. And little by little, start loving yourself, which I know is a process. But again, I would really recommend going and listening to that episode. It's one of my favorites. Little by little, going through that process and getting there eventually. Give yourself grace, because I feel like the more you like push yourself to try and put yourself into like a bubble or a box, the opposite ends up happening, because you end up getting super hard on yourself, because you're like, well, I'm trying to fake it and it's just like not working. Give it time. Give it time. I know you're saying you're giving it time, but give it more time. It will evolve. It will get there. And I promise you it's going to be okay. Alrighty, let's see what else we have. Okay, this will be the last one for today. I'm trying to spice things up with my partner. I feel like I'm losing that bedroom flame. I don't know what to do. Okay, we did an episode that was very similar, or not similar to this, but we kind of touched on it in the how to not be roommates episode when living with your partner. But I think that that also pertains to just like having a relationship in general, because after some time, you do kind of have a tendency sometimes, I know some people don't, and I don't like to generalize because some people get mad, but sometimes there is a tendency to kind of plateau a little bit. You guys get a little comfortable. You guys are just kind of like in a routine. You're doing the same things every time and over again. And it's just kind of like robotic a little bit. And I think that it's important. The first thing that you're doing that I think is the right thing is catching it. Being able to sit there and be like, oh, no. Like, I don't like what's happening. I don't like that we're kind of just, falling flat a little bit. It feels like we're losing that spice, that fire, that flame. What do? That's the first thing, is recognizing it. Because I think that once you recognize it, you can change it. I think having a conversation with your partner, which I think it's important to talk about all things with your partner and be very open in communication, but having a conversation about like this as well, and in particular, I think is very important. Being vocal, being communicative, being open about your needs and your wants and like what you want for each other. I think, there's many ways that you can spice things up. I think seeing what your partner is open to, if that's different locations, if that's bringing, certain things into the bedroom that haven't been there before, whether that is, there's different things. I honestly could make a whole episode about it, but I need to prepare myself for that. But I do think that having an open conversation and just being like, what can we do? Like, what are you interested in trying that we haven't yet? Or what would be something that you would like me to do that I haven't done yet? Like, what are you interested in? Like, having those conversations, being a little bit more spontaneous. Sometimes a little spontaneity shakes things up a little bit, and it's all it freaking takes. Doing things that are out of the normal realm, like something that he's not going to expect, is, always a great way to do it as well. I think, again, having a conversation with your partner, start there, see what they're into, and then take it from there. Also, like, really incorporate and prioritize quality time and date nights. I feel like oftentimes when you get into this routine of just kind of like robotic sex, for lack of a better word, it's because like we're not really like prioritizing each other. We're not really giving each other quality time. We're not really like, it's just kind of like day in, day out routine, whatever. And that routine falls into every facet of life. And the bedroom is definitely not some place where you would really want that to be routine. So I would prioritize a date night, have some wine, or just do an activity that you guys like to do together. Have that quality time that can then lead into the rest of the night where you guys are really feeling each other. Things are going well. You're having great conversation, because I do think for women, a lot of times it is a mental thing too. So make sure you're like mentally there. That's how I would kind of introduce this new, a new chapter, a new page in the book, so to speak. That's what I would do if it were me. I would have a conversation and then take some notes, take some mental notes, and just implicate some different things. This should be fun. This should be exciting. I know people are kind of nervous to have conversations when it comes to intimacy with their partners, because they're like, oh, like, I don't want them to think they're doing anything wrong, or I don't want them to think this. There is never going to be a situation where your partner is not going to want to spice things up or is not going to want to make your sex life better. It just doesn't exist. Everyone wins in this scenario. So I think just being very mindful of that when going into this conversation, make it lighthearted, make it fun, like make it something where you guys can enjoy having this conversation together. I know sometimes people think it's weird. It does not have to be. You guys have the common goal at the end of the day. Just go into it with that lighthearted mindset, and I think it's all going to work out. But that's what I would do. And with that being said, you guys, that is the end of this episode today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of What Would Sav Do? I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you're new here, hi, my name is Savannah, and I am your host of My Thoughts Exactly. Make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't. We post every single Friday on the podcast, as well as the video version on YouTube, and you're not going to want to miss it. I will be back next week with a brand new one for you guys, and I will see you there. Bye, guys.